My name is Binti, Ekiopara, Zuzu Dambo, Kepka, Medus, Enyi Zarinya, New Fish of Namib. My name is Binti, Ekiopara, Zuzu Dambo, Kepka. My name is Binti, Ekiopara, Zuzu Dambo, Kepka, Medus, Enyi Zarinya, New Fish of Namib. Welcome, TOTs, to the final book review of Binti. Yes, it has been long overdue. I am so sorry. I recorded one video before and I did not like it, so I said I was going to do another one. But I am actually way behind schedule with this particular book review because I had to move. As you can see, I'm in a new setup, so you know. So I had to move and it was just been so stressful. I became lazy. It's a whole story that I would have to talk about in another video, but thank you for being here, and I'm going to finally review this book. It's not going to be too long. We've done part 1 already, so I'm going to be reviewing part 2 and part 3 in this particular video. Nothing too fancy, just straight to the point. So we see Binti going home to visit her family because she's all stressed out and being a baby. So she goes home and a lot of things happen. Now I've been trying to figure out if my book review should really go in depth into the stories because I don't really want to spoil stuff for you guys. So I'd rather you go and read the book. So I'm not going to spoil too much. But a lot of things happen. At some point, she thought she had lost her family. She had to activate the Enyi Zarinya part of her bloodline. So many things. She was betrayed, she fell in love, you know, a lot of things happened in that, I don't know, less than 1 year of Binti's life. I'm like, if I were the one, I'd probably just resign, you know. I mean, find some other harmonizer to do this crap, guys. I do not need to be here for this. She pulled through and she was able to do what she needed to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to spoil it for you, so you go read and tell me what you thought about the book. So I'm going to touch a little bit about the characters, the plot, and some things that I liked and disliked about the book. First, we get to meet Winnie, who she falls in love with. Yes, I can spoil that for you. Don't be a baby about it. So she falls in love with Winnie, who is an Enyi Zarinya, and she's part Enyi Zarinya. So she's Himba and Enyi Zarinya. So that was some kind of plot twist that we did not know about. We found out that her father is not actually Himba, it's actually her mother that is Himba. So, you know, so she gets to fall in love with Winnie. I really like that romance, you know. Definitely better than if it was Dele that she fell in love with. It was so annoying. Anyway, so she falls in love with Winnie, and Winnie is this, you know, I see him as a character who is really confident in himself. He knows who he is. He's not shaken by anything. And you would understand why I say this because of the stigma that was about the Enyi Zarinya when you read the book. But he was just like, you know what, I don't give two rats legs. You know, I'm who I am and I'm gifted. I'm a harmonizer and I love who I am. So that was one thing I really loved about Winnie and his introduction into the book. Yeah, we saw Binti evolve during the book. From her whiny, complaining self, she became more responsible, more you know, grounded to make decisions, and brave to actually take action when she needed to. We also saw some other people in the book. We got to see the actual war between the Kush and the Medus. You would read that, and then we also see how at the end of the day Binti is just basically, I don't know, is she still human? I really don't know, but guys, you tell me when you read the book. But that's basically about the characters and the development of the characters. Now, when it comes to the plot, yes, I like the fact that there were different, locations in the book, and I also like the fact that I could actually visualize the different locations. So that's one thing that I really appreciate about Nnedi. She knows how to make good descriptions about scenery and location, and that's one thing that I find to be very difficult. Even trying to explain to you the location of my house and what you will see in front of my house is a task. So imagine creating an imaginary world and having that really clear and concise description that makes you visualize is something of a talent. So I really appreciate that about Nnedi, and I love that. So seeing the Enizaria place in my mind's eye, I can still see it, the Himba village, Umza University. So all those places are really just stuck in my imagination, and which is really awesome. In terms of plot twists, there were certain plot twists in the book that were really awesome and really well written, but there was one plot twist that I really predicted, and I didn't like the fact that I could predict that. When she stopped writing in the first person and started writing in the third person, I knew that she was trying to build up some kind of suspense, and for me, I'm like, if I already know what you're trying to do here, then what's the point? But yeah, it was still good. I mean, I'm not saying that fact alone destroyed the whole book. I mean, no, it was really good, but I didn't like the fact that when I was reading, I was like, oh, this is about to happen, she's about to, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but you know what I mean. If you've read the book, then you know what I mean. The ending part, when Binti returns, that's what I'm gonna say. So I felt like I knew that that was gonna happen. But yeah, the other things that happened afterwards, her finally meeting those people in space, in Saturn's rings. That was really cool and awesome. So yeah, in terms of the plot and the story and the writing, loved it. Things I disliked, apart from the fact that I could predict some parts of the book, so there was some predictability about the book, so things were not really so shocking. I liked how the book ended. I liked the fact that they did not really delve too much into questions or answers to questions that really did not need to be answered. I mean, leave some things to our imagination, right? So let us have a say in how the book ends in our minds and say, okay, this is gonna happen, is Binti gonna do this, is she gonna do that? So I like the way Nnedi ended it in that sense. I also like the fact that the Kush and the Medus war did not end, because I mean, a war that has been going on for such a long period of time, it did not just make sense that at her first try she was going to be able to just end that war and make peace with these two tribes or these two people that have been and they keep fighting. So I love the way that happened. I love the fact that she tried, and they also respected her for that, but it did not end the war, and that was something I was like, yes, maybe her next try or her next 2 tries, then maybe she would end the war. That's fine by me. But yeah, I love the fact that Nnedi did not try to make it seem like some kind of fairy tale ending where, oh, she makes peace with both sides and everybody loves her for it. That would have been so cliche, and I like how Nnedi wrote that. In terms of drawing parallels, because I love drawing parallels into real life situations, I would just say that at her age, Binti really took on a lot of responsibility. I mean, she tried to rebel against her family when she went to Umza University, but she still had mad love for her family, mad respect for her family. She really cared about what her family thought, and it's what led to her actually coming home and every other thing that happened to her afterwards. So I would say that yes, it was very realistic, because it's not just easy to break from that continuous tradition that has been holding you for so long. Yes, you get to do a little bit of rebellion here and there, but it doesn't just come once. And I love the way that it did not just make it seem like, I'm going to be who I'm going to be, and then her family just accepted her. No, she fought to break out, but when she came back, they didn't just open their arms and say, oh, Binti, welcome back. They actually gave her hell for it. So that was something that I was like, oh yes, this is so realistic. The part of the night masquerade, that was also something that was really funny for me, because it was so realistic to how people just use certain symbols in society to basically hold down certain groups of people in society. For the night masquerade, it was that, oh, a female never sees the night masquerade. But at the end of the day, you find out that all these things were actually manipulation tactics. They did it because they wanted to do it. They made her see the night masquerade because they were being strategic about it. And the whole fact that at the end of the day it was just a man in a costume really makes you think, like, you know, like, seriously guys. So it's something that was really nice to see. It's not like something we should be proud of, but I feel like it's actually shows a realistic view of society now, especially in the African society, how the whole patriarchy system and how they use certain symbols to oppress women. So that was a wonderful portrayal or depiction of that. One of the other things that I really liked about the book is how we judge certain cultures and tribes of people, even race, and we have certain stereotypes of these people, and then we do not even know the first thing about them. We just create these stereotypes in our minds, and then we just keep judging them or seeing them in that with that lens. And that was something that happened with the Nnedi Okorafor. I mean, Binti knew she was part Nnedi Okorafor, but it was something that she was supposed to be ashamed of, right? She didn't even know that her father had the gift of the Nnedi Okorafor. So it was, she had this idea that they had some mental disorders. That's why they used to communicate the way they communicate. She didn't even know it was a communication method that they were using their arms and stuff. So it was fun. It was fun to see, and it was interesting because you just get to see how we create stories about, like, one-sided stories about different peoples of the world, and we never even actually go ahead to say, okay, you know what, let me just go ask these people. Even if you don't want to do a Google search to find out about a person, why don't you just walk up to them and be like, excuse me, I'm ignorant about this thing, I need to know what this is about. And you might actually feel better, and you might actually just remove that ignorance and prejudice that you've always carried. So I promised this video was going to be a short one, so I'm not going to go on and on and on about the themes. But if you want to talk more, let's chat, let's argue about the themes of this book if you've read it. I would also say that I love Nnedi's genre of Afro-futuristic fantasy kind of writing, which is awesome. She creates a world where Africans are actually at the top of society. They are the intelligent ones, they are the inventors, they are the smart ones. I love it. I love reading books like this because this is what our children need to see. This is what our young ones need to see. We're tired of the depiction that in the media that makes it seem that everything African or everything black is bad. So I love that Nnedi continuously writes stuff like that. And if you did not know, Nnedi was also one of the writers for Wakanda and Black Panther. So go think about that. Think about the fact that she is just in that genre. She knows what she's doing. She writes about strong, powerful black African women, and I love it. I have no complaints about that. So hopefully I'll be able to read more of her books, but for now I'm going to take a break from the fantasy world and go back to my first love, which is horror and thriller. And that is why the next book that we're going to be reading, guys, is Stephen King. Finally, I'm going to get to read The Shining. I am ashamed to say that I'm a big Stephen King fan. I've never read The Shining. Like, it's like most people who don't even know Stephen King know The Shining, and I haven't read it. So I was just like, this is the time. You know, this is the time to read The Shining. So yes, if you want to read with me, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. But this is for me. Actually, I need to get back into that space of reading again, and this is what actually brings me back. I love Stephen King so much. I love his writing, and I just need to, you know, feel the horror and the thriller once more. So that I'm going to be reading The Shining. It's not really long. It's like 670 pages or something, and it's really a small book, like in terms of length. So you know that you're not really like reading too much. This is supposed to be a month, so hopefully by the end of, so let's say by mid-August, I should post the book review for The Shining. I mean, I don't even know if I need to review The Shining. I basically will just come here and tell you why I love the book so much. So it's not going to be a review. I mean, this book has been around for years. Who am I to come and review? I'm just kidding. I'm going to review the book, but yes guys, middle of August, that's when I'm going to review the book. TOTs, if you want to comment about this video, if you read the book, or if you feel like it's something that you would like to read, and I'm talking about Binti, please go ahead and comment in this comment section and we'll talk more about it. And if you have any questions or you want me to recommend any books for any reason whatsoever, also let me know and I will do that to the best of my ability. So thank you so much for watching this video, my beautiful daughters. I will see you in the next video.